This presentation is an introduction to continuous energy improvement for Cascade employees. This presentation will define what continuous energy improvement, or CEI, is, where it came from, and how Cascade is the very best at helping its customers implement CEI. Continuous improvement is a management principle that has been in practice in the industry for over 40 years. At its most basic, it is an approach that seeks to systematically improve processes and organizational capacity. Metrics are used to track the implementation and continually revise plans in a never-ending cycle involving the whole organization. Seems pretty simple and straightforward, right? Modern industrial safety, for example, took shape in the early 1970s. High accident rates necessitated formal systems to track and improve conditions. Once the systems were in place, the cause and the solutions to the problems became evident. Eventually, it permeated to all aspects of the industry, and now safety is part of our DNA. In the 1980s came other examples and applications of continuous improvement, such as Toyota's Kaizen and Motorola's Six Sigma, that improved quality and production efficiency. Some of these were later codified in the ISO standards, such as the ISO 14001 and now the 50001. In other words, energy is just being added to a commonly held industrial management practices. So CEI is rooted in trusted and proven management practices. That's great, but what does it do? It's not enough that we have an accepted method for driving down energy costs. We need to make the business case that corporations and utilities need to invest in it. So first of all, the most obvious value is it provides energy savings, and it's common to associate a payback with it. But that doesn't tell the whole story. Cascade CEI makes energy savings from operation and maintenance stick. So it is the gift that keeps on giving year after year. Would you rather have $50,000 for 1 year, or year after year, 5, 10, 20 years? Another perspective is that business leaders appreciate it relating energy savings to their core business objective, generating profits for their shareholders. For example, a company with 5% gross margin that saves $50,000 on energy would need a generation of $1 million in new revenue to have the same value. Just as importantly, Cascade CEI builds organizational readiness by developing employee skills, reporting protocols, and management systems that lead to a lasting competitive advantage. Companies become more capable of adapting to the changes that face businesses. So you may think, continuous energy improvement, this sounds familiar. Well, it's also known as strategic energy management. These terms are synonymous. Cascade now uses continuous energy improvement because we feel it's more descriptive of what we do. It also helps us distinguish it from our other service offering in energy management. So we have tried and true principles, a compelling business case that goes beyond simple payback. But how do we actually accomplish it? First, we know what doesn't work. We know that developing a huge plan on the front end with lots of wishful thinking simply doesn't work. Ultimately, we need action on the shop floor, and even the best intentioned back office plans will fall flat if we don't show them the value of their efforts. So first, put in energy monitoring so we can see the improvement that comes from tune-ups and other facilitated energy opportunity events. This way, we get points on the board and build enthusiasm right away. This enthusiasm is needed as we set out to improve organizational capabilities that will make the savings stick over the long term. Lastly, we seek to broaden the ownership of the program to the entire organization so that everybody has interest in seeing this program be successful. CEI works for all industry. That is refrigerated warehouses, distribution centers, wastewater manufacturing, high-tech, just about anything that isn't a house or office. But which are best? Those most likely to be successful in the CEI program are those that have a high sense of urgency for controlling energy costs. They have local leadership that will stand behind their employees as they implement this program. They have a history of continuous improvement through safety and quality processes, improvement of various sorts. They're metrics-driven culture and have empowered staff that feels they can make a difference in what they do. And lastly, they have a sense of wanting to do it for themselves rather than having someone come in and do it for them. These are the customers we want to find. CEI implementation. Cascade must first convince executive leadership that CEI is a worthwhile investment, not only because we need them to sign the contract, but also because they need to get behind their employees and show strong commitment as they embark on this journey. There is naturally a tendency to be skeptical of any new program or practice, but through discussions and presenting a concise business case, we can increase awareness and create a sense of urgency that we need. Through this process, we can set goals and a tentative roadmap to encourage executive leadership to communicate they are setting out on a very important improvement process. The Quick Start is a strategy to get points on the board early and to get momentum and enthusiasm up for the coming year. First, we do an intense facilitated opportunity discovery event, otherwise known as tune-ups, Kazons, or energy scans. At the same time as the tune-ups, we are also installing Sensei, performing energy management assessment, EMA, and providing training. Sensei provides the critical feedback the organizations need so they know what they are doing is having a positive impact. The EMA assesses the organization's relative strengths and weaknesses in managing energy. This increases awareness and reinforces executive commitment. Lastly, the tune-up and the EMA opportunities are prioritized in Sensei, and the energy team is training on using it. This 3.5-day process jumpstarts implementation. It gives energy teams a list of things to work on and form the organization around. Energy teams are critical to the development of the CEI program. Whenever possible, we borrow from the organizational structures that have resulted from similar continuous improvement programs such as quality or safety. In any event, we go through a process of charting these teams. We establish roles and responsibilities and expectations of the teams before we provide team coaching and guidance on the reporting protocols. Once the technical opportunities have been primed and teams have been formed, we seek to spread a sense of ownership throughout the organization. This is a process called employee engagement. One classic example we use to build employee engagement is through an employee suggestion and recognition program. This creates an avenue for employees to provide technical and organizational suggestions. The suggestion program is an idea evaluation standards in place so that employees know that their ideas will be reviewed consistently. Once reviewed, employees receive feedback on whether or not the energy teams will be moving forward with their idea. Lastly, successful ideas, once implemented, will be broadly communicated and employees will be publicly recognized for their contribution. This empowers employees and makes them feel like a valued contributor. These and other tactics bring a whole organization together to work as an energized team rather than trying to force along and fight a headwind of reluctance. These programs are typically laid out over 1 year to 3 years, the first year being the most intensive. For energy monitoring, tune-ups, and basic management systems are developed in the first few months and coaching is provided over the balance of the year. The second and third years are typically maintenance years, where organizations begin to take on increasing responsibility in the management of their energy program. During maintenance, Cascade provides a supporting role and helps fill any gaps that might emerge. After 2 to 3 years, we find energy savings are typically in the range of 10 to 15%. We have noticed that with utility programs, CEI can increase the identification of capital projects by 300%. We also find that CEI improves utility customer satisfaction. Within participating companies, we find that employees become more satisfied and many discover non-energy benefits such as quality and productivity improvements. Now you should have a better understanding of what continuous energy improvement or CEI is, where it came from, and how Cascade is the best at helping its customers implement CEI.